What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate reverse rants. No hate. So, people are going to talk about Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia for a while now. Once again, good fight. And, what happened. Now, I want y'all to think about something, okay? Because I've said this in my videos, but I want to just key in for a few minutes on something that people are really not paying attention to. And the reason why I want to do it again real quickly is because, the videos I made them lengthy for reasons to get everything out. But the longer the video goes, the less attention people start to pay to detail. Okay. Now, I want y'all to think about the business side of boxing and, the way fights go. Now, what we don't want to start to happen in this sport, it's already happening. But what we don't want, and what I know I'm not going to applaud, is when people have this by any means necessary mentality. When, boxing is a monopoly, and how you play the game, a lot of times, the most skillful guy doesn't always win, right? It depends. Sometimes it's luck. Sometimes luck is involved. Sometimes, being able to do things to cause a distraction, whatever it may be. This is what I want people to focus on. And I spoke about this a little bit. And along with the fact that I had people ask me to elaborate on this because they're trying to get insight, because they're hearing different perspectives, different opinions, and whether biased or non-biased. And pretty much you're getting both. Okay. But here's the reality. You are contracted to make weight. If a person can come in weighing whatever they want, then what's the purpose of having weight classes? Now, when you have a catch weight, if there's a rehydration clause, whatever you choose to agree to, then that's what the terms are. Okay? It's just like, for example, if someone had something in their system. Now imagine they're talking to the other fighter saying, well, do you still want the fight to go on? And then that fighter says, on one condition, I get to have the same thing that person had, then we're even. Just think. People would hear that and say, that's crazy. Somebody can get killed in there, right? Okay. Back in the day, Sugar Ray Robinson went up for the light heavyweight. Look, Ray Robinson came in there as a middleweight. And the guy was just too big and too strong to where Ray Robinson had to quit because he was exhausted. And the style he fought, that high volume punching, putting everything on every shot, it wore him down before his opponent got worn down. Okay, so strategically, Ray didn't fight the smartest fight. But bottom line is the weight mattered. Now, with that being said, that's another situation where you can look and say, well, the guy was too big, too strong. They were under the same lights, the same heat, and Ray wasn't able to continue. They literally had to carry him, out the corner, to the corner and out the ring. Okay. Honor your contract. It's like if somebody told you that you had a check coming for 10 grand, but your money came up short, first thing you're going to tell them, this is a breach of contract, right? Okay. Let me tell you something else that people need to give Devin Haney credit for. And this isn't a, hey, rah, Devin Haney. No. Personally, this is reality. This is, the right thing. What I'm saying, Devin Haney could have easily said, nah, he missed weight, fights off. This dude is going to balloon up, right? He didn't. He didn't. Now, had he decided, nah, no fight, you think people were making fun of him now, even though he was just in a fight that he got outgunned, and yeah, he got beat up towards the end, but what you think they'd be saying about him if he didn't fight? He was scared. Now, here's the crazy part, right? People said, but Aries, it was only 3 pounds. Okay. Then if it was only 3 pounds, like I said in one of the last videos I made, why didn't he try to get the 3 pounds off? Remember what I told you? I've seen guys go back, get in the sauna, come back, they stand there butt naked, just had people have a towel in front of them. Remember I said that? Okay. So to say it was only 3 pounds, well, then he could have got those 3 pounds off. Let me explain something to y'all that y'all not paying attention to. It's like you have some type of machine that takes batteries in different compartments. The parts that have the batteries will function, but the ones that don't have the battery won't. It's similar to that. Ryan Garcia put in a tweet, and this is how I know he never planned on making weight. I told you guys that. Okay? I just want to focus on this part because this is the business side of things where people use things to their advantage, and I just want to bring this to your attention, okay? And I'm responding to some questions that people had asked me as well. He tweeted, fuck that, I'm not going to weight drain myself. Okay, so wait. When I tell you these guys go to a weight class, they make weight fight night, then they rehydrate up, okay? He didn't plan on making weight going to that fight. I told you that already. And not only did he plan on making weight, but you don't know what he rehydrated up to because he looks so much bigger than Devin Haney. Now, when you say, I'm not going to weight drain myself, okay, that means what your plan was. I know I'm going to be much bigger. And he said, I'm not going to weight drain myself. I want to be strong, strong enough for the fight. Okay, so hold up. That means Devin Haney did what you didn't do. Like I told you, Devin Haney walks around like 155, close to 160, around something like that. And so for Devin Haney, okay, listen to me. For Devin Haney to make weight, okay, and he's naturally a smaller guy than Ryan. We know he's not as strong as Ryan. He doesn't punch as hard as Ryan. We already know that. Ryan has faster hands. We know this, okay? But Devin Haney went in there and made weight like a professional, like he's supposed to do. We're rewarding Ryan for not making weight. Now, yeah, he paid the fine. He didn't care. Why? He had to pay the fine. He already had millions. He made millions last night. So, like he said, that didn't hurt me. I don't care. He didn't. You saw how nonchalant he was about it because that was his whole plan. I'm going to make sure that I'm strong and I'm up to par. Like everything is good with me. So, when you have to lose those pounds, for him out of his own words to say, I'm not going to weight drain myself. So Devin Haney went and weight drained himself. Let's say it that way. He went and made sure he made weight. His walk around weight isn't 140 pounds. Like I said, he's like between 15 and 20 pounds heavier than 140. Okay, this is the same guy that was just making 135. Both of them was at the same division. Okay, but Haney, being professional about it, made weight. Ryan, being unprofessional, purposely, spitefully, to be bigger and stronger, and it worked for him. Like I told you, it worked for him. Okay, I just want to harp on this point more because I want you all to pay attention to this. Okay, if those 3 pounds didn't mean shit, oh, it was only 3 pounds, man, then why the fuck didn't he go and try to get the 3 pounds off? Here's what y'all don't understand. The same way somebody 15, 20 pounds heavier than that weight class they're fighting in, yeah, they'll be drained as well. Even though Ryan is bigger and would have to you know, he's gonna rehydrate up higher, but bottom line is they would have been to the same disadvantage. Let me just put it like that. Maybe Devin might have been able to absorb his shot better, simply because Devin might not have been at full strength. You understand what I'm saying? Whereas Ryan definitely was. Now, maybe the same outcome would have happened. We don't know. But the point, what I'm telling you guys is, the weight was not made by Ryan on purpose. So now you see, like I told you before, where people were saying Tank Davis was being a chicken. No, he wasn't. He was smart. He was definitely smart. And what he did was because he knew, like he said, Ryan walks around like 175 pounds. Nah. Hell yeah, it's gonna be a rematch clause. Now, when he's crying, why you trying to weight drain me? What he's really saying is, why you trying to take my advantage away? Because that's pretty much the only advantage he had over that Tank was being, you know, the bigger guy. Okay, but Tank knew what he was doing. Now, here's a fight where Ryan might have pulled out of the fight if they wouldn't have, if they would have said, nah, he can't rehydrate, he got to make weight or no fight. Maybe that's what who knows? Maybe that's what he thought was going to happen. But bottom line, his plan worked. Okay? If not for Devin Haney, then we wouldn't even have the fight yesterday, because Devin could have said, nah, I know what he's trying to do. No, Devin went there anyway. Now, let me tell you, stylistically, because, you know, I didn't really talk too much stylistically about like for me, what I expected from Devin. Now, let's look at Ryan Garcia's last fight. You saw how he looked. Now, let's look at Devin Haney's last fight. We saw how he looked. And in fact, guess what? I saw a little clip, short video clip. Paulie Malignaggi said he bet 100K on Devin Haney. Ain't that funny? You know he doesn't like Devin Haney. He wanted Devin Haney to lose to Lomachenko. So all of this talk about saying Devin's overrated, why would you put your money on somebody that's overrated, right? As I said, that means these people didn't think too much about Ryan Garcia. And looking at his antics and all of the nonsense that he was doing, that alone would make people go, nah, you know what? My thing was, like I said, when it comes to business, people would do things. Now, Paulie came out and said this himself. This wasn't no tweet or, you know, even if it would have been his tweet, but it wasn't. This was him on a little video. It's like a minute and some seconds long. I just thought it was funny because it's like, so now you bash Devin. What was funny to me was you bashed Devin Haney all these years, but now when you decide to have faith in him, he lose, and you lost your money. But at the end of the day, you have to look at reality. Those extra pounds mean something. And once again, everybody that I'm talking to, physically, personally, everybody saw how much bigger Ryan looked. So, in other words, what I'm telling you, like I said, he came in at full strength. whereas Devin Haney might not have been. And as you can see, like Devin, his punches didn't have the same effect on Ryan as Ryan punches had on him. Now, strategically, I didn't think that, initially from the start, Devin was on the back foot at first, and then Ryan started backing up. If Ryan lets his hands go and he's coming at Devin, he's faster than Devin, he can get the shots there. Now, me looking at Devin, what I expected more of, not was for Devin to try to walk him down and try to take the fight to him, but to give him different looks, use movement, lateral movement, keep him off balance, don't let him get the clean looks. Throw his shots, 2 3-piece shots, keep his jab pumping, jab to the body, move to the body, power shots to the body, but basically in a way of breaking him down where through time, if you have to tie him up when he gets close, spin off, whatever you have to do in terms of just not taking big punches. We know Ryan got fast hands, so we know that he can get the shots there. But I expected Devin to be more cerebral because that's what I'm used to seeing Devin do. Devin decided that he was going to go after Ryan whenever Ryan would start to back up. Now, the truth is, if Ryan would have decided to be first, because when he was first and he was catching him with the lead left hook, it took him a while to start to set him up after the first round. It took him a while to start to catch him with it again, really, but he was catching him and he was hurting him. So Ryan never showed the killer instinct to go in and finish him off. Now, it's not about retreat for Devin Haney. It's about being smart. So it's obvious Devin didn't do that. It's not something that he thought he was going to do. And somebody mentioned to me in the comment section of one of my videos that they think that Devin was trying to match what Tank did. And that could have been part of it too. But, Devin has to be smarter than that because he doesn't have Tank power. Tank has power. Devin doesn't have that type of power. So, it would be best for him to counterpunch, be first off of his movement, and, more than likely for him to win the fight, stick into boxing. Not to go into like beast mode unless you get Ryan hurt or you get him to the point where he's tired and you're able to get power shots off on him. But he didn't do that. And I always tell you guys, you never know what mindset a fight is going to show up in. So, yeah, he came in, and like I said, Devin, his game plan, Ryan's was more effective. So, what I'm saying is, let's be honest. I told you guys I don't like all the buffoonery, and I'm not going to change that. I'm too. If I had a lower IQ, and was ignorant, then that would be different, right? And even then, I probably would be like, nah. But I'm just not built like that. I'm grown, man. I have no interest in watching people with these childish antics. I just don't, like I told you, I just don't, like Ryan, I just can't get in to this guy. I told you, he's not a boxer at heart. He's not a good technical boxer. He's flash and flare and power. That's his attributes, his speed and his power. Okay? And the thing with Ryan is he throw a lot of his shots, especially when he throw that left hook, he leaves his chin open. Devin wasn't able to parry the shots, counter, make him miss, make him pay. Or catch and shoot. He just wasn't. He just was going into the high guard, like I told you guys. And when he go into the high guard, he was trying to block the shots, but when the shots was getting in, he was hurting him. And that's when I was saying, where's the uppercut? Because if Ryan was an actual good boxer, he could have knocked Devin Haney out first, second round, to be honest with you, because of the way Devin came in there to fight him. No different from Durant getting knocked out in 2 rounds by Hearns, So it happens, man. But the point, what I'm saying is, it's very unprofessional. See, like people, for example, people bashed Tank Davis for a catch weight. They bashed him for the rehydration clause. Yeah, Tank is smart. And y'all gotta understand something. Any fighter that does that, okay, Canelo had, who did he fight and made it, and it was a catch weight. We've seen Miguel Cotto fight people at a catch weight. Floyd fought people at a catch weight. You bash them and think that they're being pussy. No, they're smart. Basically, like I said, what Ryan Garcia was indirectly saying is, man, why are you trying to take my advantage away? That's my advantage for me to come in much bigger and stronger. Let you make weight. You come in and drain yourself to make the weight. That's what he's basically saying. So I'll be at full strength and you won't. So again, all the people that saying, but it was only 3 pounds. Okay, so then if it was only 3 pounds, why couldn't he go and at least try to get down? Because those 3 pounds is enough to get you to where you're not at full strength. So now you and your opponent are both weight trained. Now, this is part of the game that people are purposely overlooking. But just wanted to bring that out because, the point of a catch weight, to be fair, is, okay, your weight class is a little bit too much for me to come down to, and my weight class is a little bit too much for you to come up to. So let's meet at a comfortable weight. That's what it's supposed to be for. Now, of course, you have people that will manipulate and try to use the weight, a catch weight as a way to drain a fighter. But at the same time, it's also a way for a fighter who doesn't make weight to come in heavier. And let's just be honest. What do we always say? A good big man beats a good little man. So this is not shocking. And like I say, people are starting to forget the basic fundamentals of boxing in terms of technique. They're forgetting mental, the boxing fundamentals of understanding the sport and how the body reacts to things. And it's just becoming a circus show. So what we don't want to see happen in boxing is it comes to the point where people can miss weight and it doesn't matter if he was any kind of man, he'd do it. I mean, then people would go back and then say Devin Haney took the fight, even though they're making fun of him now for losing. But they would point that out to try to discredit the next fighter who says no, make weight or no fight. But understand, he made weight. He did his job. He did his part. Ryan didn't do his part, but Devin didn't cancel. Nah, let's make it happen. So I just wanted to put that out there, man. And that's your job, man. That's your job. Bottom line, if you have, like I said, if you had a check and the check was like I said, for $1,000, and let's just say it was $997 instead of $1,000. I mean, is the $3 going to hurt your pocket just to put it in your pocket? No, but it's still your money, and they owe you that money. Well, what if that $1,000 was for a particular bill? And let's say it was something that you had to pay, and all of a sudden you $3 short. Let's say you don't have the $3. I'm just saying, right? If it hurts you some kind of way, somebody else can say what they want, but they're not in your shoes. And it's your money. So it's not the point of the $3 not hurting your pockets. It's the principle. It's your money. So it's the same thing. You are contracted to make weight. Once again, several fighters have been bashed for not making weight. Several fighters. And, so most notable was with Benavidez, because he was stripped of his title not once but twice. And that's why people was getting on his case like, come on, man, you're a professional, man. Make weight. make weight. So, and you know, that talk about when he said he'll go down to 160 and fight Jamal Charlo, and I told you guys, man, Benavidez barely makes 168. There's no way in hell he's gonna come down and make 160. So I knew that wasn't happening. You know, but yeah, these are things that people overlook, and they think it don't mean anything. So that's why I'm bringing this up too. And once again, the same way y'all are saying that, but it was only 3 pounds, man. He gonna complain about 3 pounds. Okay, then if it was only 3 pounds, then that means to honor his contract, he should have went and tried to get the 3 pounds off. I told you guys, either in the hotel room, at his house, in training camp, he already knew, I'm not making that weight. I'm going to pay the bullshit fine. That's all. And part of this shit, like with Bernard Hopkins doing his dumb shit, trying to start fights on the stage and all this, and trying to get under their skin, well, maybe that was to ensure that they don't call the fight off because Ryan's going to miss weight on purpose. And I believe that's what happened. So this isn't something that we should honor. Now, what happened, and no need to cry over spilled milk. What happened, it happened, and all parties agreed. But this is where I'm telling you. When I tell you, it's about playing chess and understanding. Like I told you, you got people that's in the industry, and they don't understand the rules, or they forget the rules. Because bottom line is, I don't care what people would say, right? If they would have said, no, he has to make weight. And if he doesn't make weight, then we're going to call the fight off. You know, plain and simple. Well, why? Plain and simple. This man rehydrates up to 170, 175 pounds. Okay? And pretty much I'm going to make weight because I'm a professional. Which means I'll be in here fighting a fucking light heavyweight. You understand what I mean? That's to his advantage. We're fighting at 140 pounds. So he needs to make weight. And bottom line is, yeah, even if they had a rehydration clause on there, so what? You know, your respective weight class, you need to make sure that you're making weight. So, you know, I just wanted to touch on those things. Because we're going to get to a point, like I told y'all months ago, I don't even take boxing serious. It's just become something to watch. You know, yeah, I feel like Deontay Wilder, you know, in terms of watching boxing and having the interest like I used to, the love, the passion, the desire for what we're getting now. Nah, I mean, you know, even though the Saudis are doing their best to put good cards together and all, you know what I mean? Just boxing as a whole, it's not the same. You know, my training, me taking care of myself and my health and fitness and things of that nature, that's in me to do. But it's in terms of just the sport itself and what it's become, it's like too much clown stuff going on. So, you know, we have guys that want to imitate WWE wrestlers when they're in the ring, when they're posting press conferences of these guys in character and all this nonsense. Just saying, you know, we don't need all of that. We don't need that. His inability to do interviews, to talk like a grown adult. He sounds like a little kid, man. Can't even answer questions. And this is being applauded. This is people feeling like, well, that's just, you know, who Ryan is. That's the sad part. That is who Ryan is. You guys think that he's in there. Listen, everything I'm telling you, I already said. But that's who he is. And we don't want a new wave of a bunch of Ryan Garcias, like people coming here and you know, this in character and just making fools out of themselves. Now, I didn't change my stance on how I see Ryan, but I didn't want to see him get robbed. He wanted to fight, bottom line. But Devin was at a disadvantage with the weight. Definitely his weight played a part, and I told you guys, y'all don't think so. It's because y'all don't fight. Y'all never fought. You don't understand how this works. But if that weight, those 3 pounds was petty, then that means he should have took them 3 pounds off with no problem then. He knew what he was doing. So Lesson learned for Team Haney. If you guys do it again, and I believe that's why Ryan don't want to do it again, because he knows the next time they will have that stipulation. And if he decides he doesn't want to do it, then it won't be a fight. He doesn't care. Why? Because he already won. So at this point, Devin is the one with something to prove. You see what I'm saying? Now, if say Ryan Garcia goes in there and he steps up against a real, like an actual real tough fighter, and then he gets whooped on, then it's gonna be like, what happened? See, people are saying he's the king of 140. How? How? And why I'm saying how is because this is coming from people that were saying Devin Haney was overrated. So how are you the king of 140 for being an overrated fighter? You still got Teofimo there, right? So it's obvious you don't think Teofimo can beat Ryan Garcia. You see how people switch up. 1 minute they like one guy, the next minute they like another guy. Then they don't like this guy. So these are like this is like the silly side of things, but these people have a big influence on their listeners. One of the biggest parts of what's wrong with boxing is the lack of professionalism. Anybody who works somewhere right now, if you feel the same way about your job, then this is easy to understand. If you go to work and feel like, man, these people are so incompetent, the lack of professionalism is hurting where we work, and nobody seems to understand it. And it's the same thing with boxing, because people are more into wanting to be entertained by antics and stupid nonsense instead of the actual fight itself. So that's why I use AJ and Ngannou, for example, because they didn't have heated exchanges and all this and that, but they went in there and pretty much you saw what happened. AJ wasn't coming in there to be no gentleman. AJ came in there for his head. Ngannou wanted to do the same thing, but AJ was like, nah, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna knock you out. And that's how that went. So yes, that's important. It's very important. It's very, very important. And so when you have, it's like, for example, right? When Conor Ben was knocking all these guys out and landing these vicious shots on guys, what's the first thing that people said after he basically had a banned substance in his system? What's the first thing people said about the result of his very next fight? Is it just a coincidence he ain't knocked this guy out and didn't have the same steam, was looking tired? Like, now all of a sudden, what are they insinuating? Oh, so when he's clean, he doesn't have that type of power, that type of advantage, right? Okay, same thing. It's the same thing. Because you fight at the same weight class doesn't mean you walk around at the same exact weight. But that's the difference when someone can actually fight at a higher weight class, but they're going as small as they can possibly get to have the best advantage that they can get. So not only that, Ryan can fight someone else and they may say, yeah, they may look at what happened with the Haney situation, depending on the fighter, and they may say, well, you know what? Yeah, I see what Ryan tries to do. What's the purpose? Why can't you make weight? There's no such thing as a 143-pound weight class. So the whole point is, if you can't make weight, and see, the point is, once the rules start to go out the window, when people stop caring and they disrespect, see, he's disrespectful to the sport of boxing. This is what I don't like about him, and the goofy stuff. And people, these casuals, they don't care. It's like a bunch of kids. They don't think they need to behave in school, on a school bus, on a transit bus, and the more they think they can just go anywhere they want. You see it in the movies, everything. People coming home, bringing their friends in, walk past the parents. Well, hello, how was your day? Oh, hi, Mom. And just walk in, disrespectful. I saw a movie where some kids was in they weren't even really, high schoolers. And I think they had two that was on their way to college or something like that. And they were in a restaurant and they're sitting there eating. And in the scene, they start standing up, dancing on top of the table and doing a bunch of stupid stuff. And in the movie, nobody told them, hey, look, y'all got to go. You know better than that. Well, I seen that happen in real life. in a restaurant, but they got kicked out of there and escorted out by the police. And next thing I know, they was in the back of the squad car, crying and swearing and screaming because they just feel entitled, like they can do whatever they want. No respect for rules, do whatever. And this is the type of stuff that people will look at in boxing and think, ah, man, who cares about 3 pounds? Oh, who cares about 5 pounds? Oh, no. Make weight. And that's all I really wanted to point out to you guys. Those particular things, so you can focus more on that, because that is what you're contracted to do. But nobody's bringing that up. Nobody's saying anything about it, because boxing has become a shit show, a circus. So, yeah, that's, and it's nothing new. We know what happened, but it's like, I want you guys to think about that, because while you're bragging about Ryan's win, Haney was at a disadvantage. And then the next fight that Ryan has, he doesn't even care about a title. He doesn't want a title. He doesn't even care about the belt. He just, the fact he won. He wants to be a celebrity. He wants to be a superstar. And belts are secondary. And let's not forget, it's him and Rolly Romero saying belts don't mean nothing. It's all about how many Instagram followers and TikTok and Snapchat and Facebook. And if you got a YouTube channel and things of that nature. So while he's high off of this Haney win, don't be surprised if he gets in the ring his very next fight and get knocked out. Like the same thing he did to Haney, worse might happen to him. You never know. Like I said, Tank Davis can go ahead against Frank Martin, and all of a sudden, what an upset. Frank Martin just defeated Tank Davis. You never know. You know what I mean? The fights that we expect to be big fights. You know, Bevel and Vitervia, for example. What if somebody gets dominated? And it's like, damn, this wasn't no back and forth. This was a one-sided ass whooping. You know, what if Zhang and Wilder end up, somebody just gets starched? You know, it's not even, you know, seen as being competitive. We already seen it with Wilder and Joseph Parker, you know. But you see, people didn't make as big of a deal out of it, because what they tried to do was blame on inactivity, or, you know, they tried to taint Parker's shine. You know, Usyk and Fury. So what's built up to be a super fight may not end up being a super fight. And, you know, the thing about this fight was the antics and all the build up to it. It's to the point where people don't even identify when they see a good fight anymore. It's like in this situation, it's a let's overlook the facts, but just marvel at what happened and make it seem like Devin didn't win any rounds or nothing. Like he just went in there and lost the fight. Like, no, you know, it was a good fight. You know, Zhang and Parker was a good fight. And then Zhang got tired. And then, you know, Parker was able to take over. You know, things happen. But that's all I wanted to tell you guys. Talk to me in the comment section. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people. And I'll catch y'all on the next video.